audiences for your patience. The slides obviously gives us the glimpse of how EEE department is actively involved in different researches and industrial tours. Now, in this instant, may I please request Professor M. Omar Rahman, the Vice Chancellor of Independent University Bangladesh, to come up on the stage and say a few words.
Our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Jamilur Raza Chaudhry, the Vice Chancellor of University of Asia Pacific, and the Chairman of the BAE-TEE and IEB, our Honored Trustee, Mrs. Husna Ali, my fellow colleagues in the faculty and administration, and most importantly, dear students. It's really a privilege and a pleasure for me to be here in a ceremony that acknowledges the signal achievements of the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering in the School of Engineering and Computer Science. I think accreditation by the IUB is a well-deserved honor by the department. As we have heard, the department, as part of the School of Engineering, has been one of the I think parts of IUB which has been in the forefront of research and training the next generation of innovators in engineering, particularly electrical engineering in Bangladesh. You know, my own feeling about accreditation is that what it's really designed to do is to set a minimal standard. It's the floor rather than the ceiling, but it's an important floor. It tells you that this is a certain level of quality which allows you to be benchmarked internationally, which gives us the recognition that students who are graduating from these programs have the requisite skill sets and can compete on an even keel with their peers from all over the world. So it is crucial and important to employers and to graduate schools when they're trying to evaluate how much do these students know. And that's always a problem. It's never clear how we assess the achievements of students who come from all over the world, from different programs, different kinds of resource settings. And I think accreditation plays a very valuable role in setting a clear, transparent, internationally admissible benchmark. But, as I said, it's just a floor. Our aspirations are to do much more. And if the floor is high, then of course the aspirations have to be even higher. And I'm very pleased that under the very able leadership of Professor Jamilur Raza Chaudhry, that we have an accreditation body that sets a very high standard. So we can be assured that institutions which have achieved this standard are, certifying that these graduates really are of a very, very high standard of achievement. And I think that's important. I'm very pleased that IUB, which right from its inception, and I'm very happy to say with the strong support of our Board of Trustees, has focused on two very important ideas. One is research and innovation, and the other is global partnerships. And they're both integrally linked. And the fact that we are an institution that takes research very seriously. Research is not a marginal activity, it is not a luxury, but it is an integral activity of all aspects of the university, and that students are expected right from the very beginning, and I'm talking about even the first year students, to get involved in research activities, because this is what pioneering institutions, this is what iconic institutions, which is what we aspire to be, are all about. It's all about creating new knowledge and new awareness, about creating the next generation of leaders. And I'm very pleased to say that the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering has been in the forefront of this. Just a couple of days ago, I was interviewed by the Daily Star about our Center for Green Energy, which is in fact headed by faculty members from the School of Engineering, particularly the Department of Electrical Engineering. And I said that, this is, we are very, very happy to support these initiatives. The board has been very generous in providing support to research centers, and the Green Energy Center, I think, is particularly innovative because it is focusing on renewable energy, on energy which takes into account the huge negative impact of fossil fuels on climate change, and particularly on solar energy. And there will be a number of innovative projects. And we talked about several issues, and one of the issues that came about was, okay, where do we go? What's the next step? You have interesting ideas, important ideas, some seed money is given to try to transform it into a pilot project, but then how do we scale it up? And we talked about the fact that we have discussed the importance of incubators, we have discussed the importance of universities getting involved in translating the brain power of their faculty members and their students into practical projects which can actually make a difference in the day-to-day lives of our society and other societies around the world. And I have to say that electrical engineering really has been in the forefront of this. So it is leading the way, it is the pioneer in this, but I hope that other parts of the university will also get on this bandwagon, and we, as a university, we are going to be seen as a pioneer in translating academic work into ideas which make a big difference in transforming the lives of people all over the world. Recently, a very interesting article on technology in Africa in The Economist, which basically talked about these concepts of scaling up, and that it's not enough just to have a good idea. You have to think about whether it's marketable, whether it's sustainable, and all of these things need to be thought of in a multidisciplinary fashion. And I think this is I think something that we really need to focus on. But I'm moving away from a little bit from this issue of accreditation. I think the accreditation has really helped us enormously. In some ways, it has essentially formally recognized a lot of things that we were doing already. But the formal recognition makes us a much more attractive place for students and for faculty members. And I think that's important. And I thank Professor Jamilur Reza Chaudhry and his organization for pioneering this accreditation process and for implementing it in a clearly transparent and an internationally recognized manner. And I think that's important. There are many good ideas, but following through is often difficult. And I think we've already gotten accreditation for electrical engineering, electrical and electronic engineering, but we have also received, pretty much formal acknowledgement of similar accreditation for our computer science programs. And as we go forward, other programs hopefully will also be getting this. So I want to tell the students that you're indeed fortunate that you're studying in an institution which is, first of all, UGC recognized right from its very beginning and its inception, but now is formally accredited. And this is part of our larger effort and we are pursuing international accreditation at very different levels, both at the program level, and you know that recently the business school has gotten recognition and accreditation from ACSPP, which is an international North American-based accreditation organization, and we are also pursuing university-wide accreditation in North America. I think this effort of accreditation is absolutely crucial and essential. I think standardization is very important. And in an increasingly globalized world where our graduates, we are expecting, will work not just in Bangladesh, but all over the world. They need to have their credentials be easily transferable and accepted. And accreditation is an important and perhaps an essential prerequisite for that. There are many people to thank, but most importantly, I want to thank the department. I think the department has done enormous work. I want to thank Dr. Razak and his colleagues for putting an enormous amount of hard work in trying to make this happen and get it done and get it implemented. And I want to thank the students, because without the students, we would not exist. We exist for you, and we are here to make sure that your dreams of making a difference in the world are implemented. Thank you again for coming and sharing this information.
Thank you, sir, for your precious remarks. Now, may I please humbly request the chief guest of today's program, Professor Jamilur Reza Chaudhry, Chairman of the Institute of Engineers, Bangladesh, Board of Accreditation for Engineering and Technical Education to please come up on the stage and say a few words.
The Vice Chancellor of Independent University of Bangladesh, Dr. Omar Rahman, the Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Milan Pakal. I can see member Board of Trustees who happens to be the wife of a close friend of mine, my classmate in Engineering University, Dr. Shahriar, Dr. Razak, other faculty members, IUB, and students. A very good afternoon to all of you. Assalamu alaikum. It's a very happy occasion, not only for IUB, but for me also, that two more programs which have already been accredited and now you are celebrating this event. Just to give you a background of my involvement with the accreditation process. It started very early, I think in the early 1990s. I was president of the Institution of Engineers, 92, 93, for the 2-year term. And I was discussing with the British engineer who has been stationed in Bangladesh for quite some time, the possibility of BUET graduates becoming members of Institute of Civil Engineers UK, which is the oldest professional body in the world. 1816, I think it was founded. And our graduates were having difficulty in getting membership of ICE UK. So he said that, okay, I'll get in touch with London office. Then he said that you have to apply, and that's when I first came to know about this self-assessment report. We received a big format to prepare the self-assessment report, which required at that time, I think, one faculty member spending about 6 months. So much of information had to be included in that report. In UK, at that time, there was a body called Joint Board of Moderators, comprising 3 large professional bodies: Institute of Civil Engineers, Institute of Structural Engineers, and Institute for Building Surveyors, and I forget the other one. So they said that, okay, we'll send a reconnaissance team, a 3-member team, just to carry out a survey whether your program has reached a status when it will be considered for full accreditation, when a 5-member team would be sent from London. So initially 3 members, and then if the report is positive, it will be followed by the full accreditation visit. So the 3-member team came, they looked at all the documents, went through the whole process, talked to the students, question papers, visited the laboratories, the answer scripts, the grading scheme, everything. They submitted the preliminary report to Joint Board of Moderators, which, looking at the report, decided that it's no longer necessary to send the full team. It was so positive, full of the good points of BUET Civil Engineering program. They said that we are prepared to give you full accreditation, provided you introduce 2 changes. One is you must have external examiners. External means from outside the country, preferably UK, who would oversee the process. The question papers have to be sent to them. That is the British system, that, and the grading scheme. And the other was some changes in the projects we had assigned to students at different stages. They pointed out that it's more of standardized design problems rather than asking the students to think about new problems, and so problem solving skills we had some deficiency. Our academic council at BUET at that time did not agree to this proposal of inviting external examiners. But if I remember, in the newspaper the headline was that the first South Asian program to be accredited by a British institution. So that was the headline, but we didn't succeed in taking it to the final step. So that was the beginning, 25 years back. We started thinking about starting this, and it was quite expensive. You can think that paying the fare for first the visiting team from UK, then the 5-member team coming from UK. So in the early, I think it was 2001, we received some financial assistance from DFID, the British, to improve the quality of engineering profession in Bangladesh. And they helped IEB first to set up BPERB, Bangladesh Professional Engineers Registration Board, with the objective that would introduce P-Eng, which indicates that a person is really qualified to practice the profession of engineering. And then they said that the entry to the P-Eng process would be the engineers would be joining. Their qualifications have to be accredited by another board. So this board, BAET, came into existence. I was asked to head that, and I have been heading it for the last, since its inception in 2003, so 14 years. Although I've been trying to get rid of this responsibility, but there are very few others who are willing to take it over. Now, in the meantime, we started, in fact, the purpose of accreditation is, as Dr. Omar Rahman said, to ensure that anyone getting a bachelor's degree from the accredited program has the minimum qualifications required for that particular branch of study. The reason is, like some other professions, like medicine, say pharmacy, engineers who are practicing the profession would be involved in activities on which the safety of the society depends. Not true for some other professions. Say BBA, a graduate, if he or she does commit some error, the likely impact on society is not be that great. But if a civil engineer designs a building and the foundation is weak, there are structural weaknesses, then it's a real risk for the society. So that is the reason why some of the professional degrees, we have to ensure that the graduates have the minimum knowledge required in that particular field. So having established this board under IEB, we started looking for international recognition. The mutual recognition of degrees among different countries. Washington Accord, about which a mention has been made by Dr. Razak and Dr. Shahriar also. Some of you may not be familiar, but in 1989, 6 countries met in Washington, 6 of the national boards of accreditation, and they formed, the name of that body is Washington Accord, Mutual Recognition of Degrees, and these were all what I would say white Anglo-Saxon background countries, USA, UK, Canada, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. They were the founder members of Washington Accord in 1989, July. And they invited other countries to join. Over the last 28 years, starting with the 6, we have now 13 new full signatories. So the progress has been very slow. But if you look at the population, China joined 2 years back, India about 3 years back, Russia I think about 4 or 5 years back. So the population point of view, the coverage is very large. If China and India and then USA